Alright, fellas, and we are live, ladies and gents, days and dims. Thank you for watching the Sarthe Highway Patrol YouTube channel, and welcome. Tonight, here we have round one in the Sarthe Highway Patrol Motorsports Racing Team playoffs of Season 1. First, we have Tyler in the Orange Huracan and Godly Vibes Starion in the Black Huracan. Commentary by Manji Deathclock and myself, Bloody Viper, joining you here tonight, Tuesday, January 23rd of 2024. Of course, this is regards to the 2023 season. Started and conducted by one Manji Deathclock. Has done a great job within the entire race season, and we've made it officially all the way up here to the playoffs. And what an interesting start! We've already got a couple of shootouts by a couple of other members, including by Fathead, Enzo. Some kind of hardcore contenders within the Motorsports Racing League. Manji, what all do you have to comment on how the whole season's gone, man? What's your thoughts?
No, the whole season, I mean, it got a little hectic towards the end due to personal things on my end taking away time, but during the height of it where we were running pretty frequently and on schedule, it was hellacious. There was a lot of competition going on between all of our drivers. And it was really fun to see everyone kind of come together and put their heads in the space where you saw them get crafty and creative and find ways around each other's strategies. I think more of the guys are more familiar with racing with each other now because of the series. And this playoffs is definitely going to pose as an interesting spin on that because it's it's a sudden death elimination shootout with each round. So every seed pair that goes up, whoever moves on, and whoever falls behind goes to the compensatory bracket. So we'll see how this one goes, and this should be a good first round. We've already had two heavyweight matchups, Vondon and Coda, both races. Vondon and Coda, Fathead and Enzo, both of them were within near seconds of each other on each end.
Wow.
So very close matchups. This is there's not a single easy race in this entire series.
Incredible. Well, tell us more about what the rules and regulations on, well, at least this race are. I understand they're in Huracans. Are they modified, stock? What are we dealing with here?
We're looking at pure stock cars within the GTLM class. The only modification is just racing tires of a medium compound. That's it. All these playoffs are formatted so both drivers run the same car, same spec. It all comes down to the individual skill and the track. The only thing that really runs any variance is the top seat of a matchup pairing. They get to choose the home track of their choice as kind of like a home field advantage, so to say.
Absolutely.
But really, that is about it. Everything else is pretty standard across the board. Everyone's running on even terms. Nothing special is going to come, from each vehicle. They're both just as even as you can get. Let me go ahead and announce to these guys. All right, gentlemen, double file on this. We're going to roll at 40, and I'll call green.
All right, and let's have a good race, guys. And the start of round one of the SHP MRT starting shortly.
Green, green, green. And
we're off. Absolutely. Coming up into turn one, we have a substantial lead. Lag central here, coming out of turn one there. Tyler in the lead. Very good lead indeed it is. Godly doing what he can to catch up after we come over the little hill there and into turn two, otherwise known as Corey, as they call it there. Tyler continuing his very nice, comfortable lead over Godly at the time. Godley doing what he can to catch up in these corners and everything.
Now, this race is going to pose an interesting strategy here. These Hurricanes at full blast only hold barely 5 laps of fuel. So at some point, they're going to have to decide whether to slow down their pace and maintain fuel conservation or hit the pits for a quick second and time it absolutely correctly so they don't die on the last lap.
Absolutely. Will certainly be very interesting to see how the pit strategy, if any, turns out here. At Panorama. And now on the Conrad straight, Tyler still taking a nice, very comfortable lead. And Godley just trailing behind. Hopefully he can be able to make up some of that to put a little bit of pressure on Tyler there.
I think we're looking at 2 different strategies here. Tyler's coming out really fast, really strong on the tires, on the gas. Godley's kind of just hanging back a bit, more of a medium pace, looking like he's trying to give Tyler a false sense of security there. Maybe capitalize on any sort of spin outs or loss of time coming up ahead that he may catch his eyes on.
Absolutely, and that's really not all that bad of a strategy at all. Just also kind of what I was suspecting as well, you know, maybe different fuel maps, different strategies in general. Most likely could be what's going on here. You just never know, right? Until we get those after race interviews, you know what I mean?
Yes, that is absolutely true, but we will see what's going to go down here. Looks like we're ahead into the 3rd lap. Godley is on pace 2 seconds ahead of purple lap. I did not catch pace advance on Tyler. We'll see at the next checkpoint coming up this sharp left hand here.
Absolutely. And looking over at our stream, seems like we just have a couple of chats here. Rate My AMG says first, and of course, welcome, Rate. And it's Soapy says, is everyone racing today? And unfortunately not. It's just these couple of guys here that are just doing their quick little shootout race. It's only 5 laps, so it should be pretty relatively quick and everything, which we will also be doing a highway simulator after this event here. So yeah, of course, again, thank you guys for joining in with us.
Alright, so looking through that chicane, looks like Tyler is on pace for 3.2 seconds purple, and Godley is about the 2.6 range last I saw. So still running pretty similar pace, but what I'm seeing here is a slight difference in fuel level between the two. So it looks like we were correct about the fuel strategy between the two. Now we just need to see if Tyler has enough gas to make it work in the long run.
Absolutely, and of course coming into the chase here, and the chase is certainly on with Godley Vibes. Godley Vibes is doing what he can to pick it up with what it is that he has been given to work with here. Tyler's still taking on that, again, very comfortable lead from Godley, but you know, who knows, we may see a bit of an interesting situation here coming up here within the next lap or so.
Both drivers coming up the main straight just past first turn. The gap seems to be widening just a little bit. We were at a 3.5 second gap, now at a 4.9 second gap.
Wow.
There really is no penalty on the tires from the looks of it. Both sets of tires are in decent condition. It's more so the fuel and the associated weight that we're looking at that's going to change the performance. But right now there's just such a huge gap and not many laps left.
Absolutely.
It's looking like Godley is going to need something to happen and fast.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And of course, Godley taking a little slidey there, around turn 4, continuing to come up the hill. Look at him there, getting this drift on, and when in doubt, slide it out. Mr. Godley says, absolutely. Hopefully, that doesn't make him lose any more time that he's already lost here from Tyler, continuing to absolutely dominate for the time being, going around the skyline and down through the S's. You know, again, you know, I still think we might see a bit of an interesting situation coming up here when it comes to fuel consumption and fuel maps. perhaps even.
Now that I'm actually looking at one lap 4-6, but I hit 5-6, and Tyler's only down half. They're both only down halfway. They're at the same level now. So it looks like at some point they had adjusted their mapping to compensate, and they're both in the safe zone now.
Wow, very incredible. And who knows? I mean, there maybe could have been some early on fuel, consumption that one of them maybe tried to do, and maybe took some time off, because of that. You know what I mean? Or added some time on.
If you look at the difference between Tyler's PRs, he went off a 210 to a 207, and now to a 207 again. So it looks like a 3-second difference was made by adjusting his map initially. Godley went from 209 to 208 from a 213 originally, so it looks like he also had a huge jump in mapping as well.
Absolutely. Of course, likely that's exactly what happened, And Godley looking good coming over the hill there. What's going on?
A little bit of wall contact on my end. Looking at Tyler up front. Doesn't look like he sustained any damage, just looked like a little bit of a bump and grind, but his entire door panel is looking, well, no, very new anymore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I think he might have to file a bit of an insurance claim after this one, eh?
That's more like a total with how these cars are worked on.
And of course, gentlemen, if anyone's having a drink tonight, big cheers off to you. This SHP stream is brought to you by 1800 Tequila. Go out and get you some today, and maybe you'll get some.
You've got the 1800 Tequila. I've got my Seagram's Escapes Calypso Colada.
Hell yeah!
You always gotta have a fruity drink, right?
Absolutely. And of course, Godley's still trailing behind. What's our times looking like between the two now? Has Godley been able to make any sort of, distance on him, or what are we thinking? And it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with my colleague here. Godley overshooting it hella.
Godley just overshot the turn. That's gonna hurt him bad.
There. Yep. Very badly, and he was already hurting, unfortunately, from before, so this ain't gonna be looking good for him. Unless Tyler makes an absolute big fucky lucky, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, that dip in the chicane, that may have just dashed Godley's hopes of making something happen. The only thing he can rely on is if Tyler has a devastating mistake and takes some form of damage.
Yep, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, they're on their last lap now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. On the last right now. This is it. This is what it comes down to.
Right on.
Tyler's making way around that first uphill left-hand bend. Godley is following shortly behind. About a 7.5 second gap between the two. He did start to close for a second, but it looks like the gap has now suddenly started to increase again.
Absolutely. A little bit of wall contact off of Tyler there. Up by Frog Hollow.
Look at the average pace here. It went from 210 to 207s on 208 for Tyler. 213, 209, 208, and 210 for Godley. So it looks like both kind of experienced a similar trough in their performance. They had a high point in time, went to two low point times, back to a high point.
Absolutely, and of course, from what we've seen the whole season, Tyler's it seems to be a very consistent driver as well now. Seems to be very much reflected here tonight, for sure.
I wouldn't discount Godley from that statement either. From the start of the season to the end of the season, he's shown pretty significant performance improvements from race 1 up to now. I could confidently say I don't even recognize him as a driver since the start of the season. He's come a long way. Unfortunately, here today though, it's looking like that we're gonna see a first round exit for Godley, but not without a little bit of a fight. That was still pretty good. that was not totally a one-sided race as most people, would think could happen in these shootouts. But overall,
Absolutely.
it's still a
GG
very good
Golly.
effort on behalf of both gentlemen.
Absolutely. And your winner for round 1 of the SHP MRT series, we have the Tyler
Holy
Mann.
shit.
Congratulations. All right. So,
Dude,
of course,
I beat the brakes off of that Lambo.
So, post-race interviews, Godly, you did everything you could. I know you gave it your absolute best. Tell me, what was going on there at the beginning of the race and everything? Absolutely. And were you taking any sort of fuel consumption measures with fuel mapping or anything like that? Very interesting. Well, Godly, you've led on a great race here tonight. Unfortunately, you just couldn't pull through on the W. But I guess better luck next time. And all right, and now over to our round 1 winner, Tyler Mann. Tell us about that. About the tricks you used on that orange Huracan here tonight, and how you were able to take away the win from Godly.
Well, honestly, I credit it mainly to a lot of my experience with this track. I drive this car, or I drive this track almost for a living because of the GTHP and stuff. I just came straight out of the gate and just literally just beat the brakes off of this Huracan. And then as far as fuel saving, the only thing I was actually doing was a little bit of short shifting. And I wasn't even really short shifting. So
I see.
And but yeah, besides that, just full pace. And I knew I had the fuel. I was watching the laps of the fuel, so.
Absolutely.
And then once we got on the final lap, I was just full revving it and just letting it go because I had enough gas. So.
Of course. And now, of course, anyone that was especially watching the stream and spectating otherwise could definitely see that you had some connectivity issues. Were you having any issues on your end, or?
So the couple times y'all saw me hit the wall, I never actually touched the wall. But yeah, I'm not on my home setup. I am at my friend's house, and he just got new Wi-Fi recently, and for some reason it does not like GT7 very much. So.
Absolutely. Well, it's all good. I'm glad it worked out for you otherwise. So, right. So,
Yeah.
again, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The round 1 winner here for the SHP MRT playoffs, Tyler Mann. And we will definitely see how the bracket ends up in the very near future. So, of course, to those that are still watching the stream, thank you so much for watching. Please stay shortly tuned for the highway simulator that will be going up within probably the next 30 minutes. So,
Excellent.
again,
See
thank you
all
for
there.
tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.